So who can become a front-end engineer? First of all, is someone that is passionate, because passion, you need passion for anything you want to do. Then someone that is creative. A lot of people don't really know this. They just want to go into tech, and the first thing they're learning is Python. Even though if you to go learn Python, so you have to know who you are for passionate. Then you have to know creative. Do I love to see what I'm doing? One of those people, that means front end is for you. So do you love real-time interaction with you and the software? You can see whatever you are doing. That is, you are meant to be a front-end engineer. So the advantages of front-end creativity, like I mentioned, because it has high demand and then you can immediately see whatever it is you're doing backend that you're just coding. You don't really see what you're doing. But then also front end can be very limiting because you're not exposed the technologies that are out there. It's just mainly what is used for front end that you know. Then moving on to backend engineering. Backend engineering, those are they develop, they don't design. They handle everything that goes in the server side. So in an app or a website, which is the front end, then we have the server side. So backend engineers, server side, what they do, what the front end engineer make it interactive. So for a front end engineer, you can just build state, but when you want to do, say you go to Jumia, and then you put a couple of products in your cart. So all it's going to the cart, a product, then you go to checkout. You can see, but there are other things going back that you don't see of the backend engineers. They manage this, they build the security, performance in the project. Mostly they use Node.js for their servers, SQL or NoSQL databases. So if you want to go into backend engineering, know that you're going to learn a lot of, you're going to know more about servers, what's worked behind the app. Then you're going to know how to manage your database. And then, of course, you must be passionate if you also want to become a backend engineer. And then you must be a very analytical thinker. You must be able to solve complex technical challenges, because of course you're going to need. So these are people that engineers, you have to be very sharp. You have to think deep, because backend engineering actually requires all this. Then the advantage is you become more logical. And for front-end engineers like myself, challenges that I can't, yeah, but if I take it to backend engineer, they are more analytical, they are more logical, they solve it as far as. So if you want to become a backend engineer yourself, are you complex technical challenges? So if that's you, then you are good to go to back end. Then of course the disadvantages to back end is like it's quite hard. When you write Python, you write PHP, all those things. It's actually, you don't really see what you're doing, so it's just done, then you go, then you see, then you have to go back again and all. So it's complex that you can actually see. Then moving on to if it's not that much, front end and back end. Some people are very, very smart, that unlike the rest of us. Full stack engineer, you must know how to build the front end, and you must know how to interact the front end to the back end. Then that means you must be very vast in UI and also in database and servers. So if you want to become a full stack, that means you have to learn most HTML, CSS, JavaScript for front end. Then you go to servers for backend servers and databases. So, but this that's a bit of disadvantage. If you are not conscious of it, you might actually project because front end and you have to do it. And there's a high demand for engineers actually. Most companies just want someone that can do both because they don't want to pay for. So if you in full stack engineering, that is very nice. You will be outkick in the industry. Disadvantage for full stack is because you're a full stack engineer, you tend to just learn the basics of either of the two. So you can't go in depth into both unless you like go for a very, very, very couple of years. Maybe you've been learning for 15 years, then you will say that okay, you're vast in each skills, but mostly you won't be able to in depth because you have to just go through to be able to build you want to build. So for what you want to go for front end full stack, go to roadmap. So don't go and anyhow. So it is the roadmap for front end engineers. So you have to learn the basic in JavaScript for this in the comment section. For everybody, I'm going to drop the one for front end, back end, and full stack. So for anybody interested, you can go ahead to view the link, then you'll be able to see any. So this is the roadmap for front end engineers, and this is the roadmap for back end. The one engineer to learn, like I said, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then you also have to learn the backend, which is Node.js. You have to be able to manage the database and link everything together to make it interactive to the users. Then, apart from front end, back end, and full stack, which there are other things that you can learn if you cannot really cope with the technical skills. They are non-technical skills. You can become a UI UX designer. You can become the product or project manager, technical writer. And if you are going to tech skills, it's not only full stack or front end that is out there. You can be DevOps. You can go into Web3, which is the blockchain, the crypto. Then you can go into mobile app, cybersecurity, and so on. You can even build AIs. You can build the next ChatGPT for us to do. And that is the end of my presentation. If anybody has any question, please ask. Hello.
Thank you very much, Christiana, for the presentation. That's very clear. I have two questions, right?
Okay.
The first one is now we see that with the help of Node.js runtime environment, right? You can write both front ends and back end with JavaScript, right? You can write JavaScript on the front end and then still write JavaScript for back end logic, right? Made possible by Node.js runtime environment. In this case, if you know JavaScript very well, because you can write JavaScript in both end and front end, are you good to call yourself a full stack developer? That's one question.
Okay. Please ask your second question.
All right.
Hello,
all right. The second question is actually can be answered by anybody, right? Let's think like a hiring manager. Now, you want a front-end developer. You want to hire a front-end developer, right? And there are two people before you. The first person know everything about front end. He's a front end engineer. He knows front end engineering to the core, right? Then the second person know front end to some extent and then back end to some extent. This
Sorry,
means
I didn't get the rest of your question, sir.
All right. I say the second question is this. It's not you are a hiring manager.
Yes,
and you have to, and you need a front end engineer, right? You need a front. One of them is a hardcore front end engineer. He knew front end engineering to the core, but he doesn't know anything about back end engineering, right? And then you have the second individual who know and know back end engineering to some extent, which means he know how.
hello?
Is it my network or your network?
I don't even know. So if I get the question right, which one should the hiring manager go for?
Yes.
Let's start from it. To answer your first question, like you said, if you have to be very, very vast in JavaScript. And I think that is also being technical, because for you to know more about JavaScript, that means you're an analytical thinker and you like to solve technical challenges. So I can really say that that person is backend with a little bit of, because if I'm using myself as an example and I'm vast in JavaScript, I will do more in the backend side than the front end side, because that is what I know. I want to solve all the bugs and make sure that everything runs perfectly. I might just do the basics for the front end, but I'll really, really focus on the back end. So I hope that answers the first question, sir. Hello? Can anybody else hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello? Can anybody hear me, please?
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Okay. So as I was saying, I said if a person knows more of JavaScript and thanks to Node.js runtime, the person can do front end and the back end together. I use myself as an example. The one I know more is the one I'm really, really going to focus more. So if I know that, okay, I am very, very technical, I'll focus more on the technical side than the non-technical side. And that type of person can actually call themselves full stack because you are doing both the front end and the back end. Question, Mr.
All right. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Then for the second question, then if you're looking for a front end, and then you have someone that is good at front end, and you have someone that is good in both front end and back end, I think from the question, you actually know what you want to go for. Though hiring managers can be, I won't say covetous, but I think you should go for the front-end engineer because a front-end engineer actually knows everything there is to know about the front end. Like I said in the presentation, you can just know the basics of both. You can't really go in depth in both. It is not really possible. So for the hiring manager should go for front end, the person that knows the front, because then the person will know which technology to use for this particular stuff and not just the basics. There are literally a lot of technologies out there right now, a lot of frameworks, and then a lot of some people will use the normal React. Why we know that Vite is faster. That's what everybody say. It's faster. It runs very, very fast, and then you get your changes as quick as possible. But I don't know, someone that is learning in both might not really focus on which framework should work the best or something like that. Did I answer your question right, sir?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, then. Do we have any other question? All right, Victoria, I think I am done because we have 3 minutes to stand up meeting. Hello, Victoria. Can you hear me? Hello. Can anybody else hear me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Since it's Miss Victoria's network, we should just wait for her.
Victoria is not at the host right now. Mr. Samuel, could you please just wrap up for us? I think it's time.
Oh, all right. Thank you everyone for joining. I think it's time for morning stand-up, right? See you again tomorrow. If you are presenting tomorrow, please remember to submit your public artifact and get your slide ready for tomorrow presentation. Have a productive day.
Thank you, sir.